Hi, this is Donna Taggert, the dietitian for Department of Aging and Human Services. This month, I'm going to be talking to you about gut health. There is a lot of stuff out there, and I am going to just touch on some of it. So, definition of gut health. It's often determined by how well the digestive system is functioning and if it's free of GI disturbances. Now, that's still a work in progress because there's a lot of research going on about gut health, and every day more and more stuff is coming in. But they have found that a healthy gut is important in overall well-being of our bodies. It can help lower the risk of colon cancer, colon polyps, inflammatory bowel disease, and it's linked to brain health, heart health, and bone health. Our gut is home to trillions of microorganisms. They're bacteria, they're fungi, they're yeast, they're viruses, and it's very diverse. We all have our own individuals called the microbiome. We all have our own little thing, almost like our fingerprints. Our microbiome is really unique to ourselves, but it does get affected by stress, diet, which I'll talk about more, medications, lifestyle, and environment. So again, that's why it's making it hard to really get a grip on gut health totally, because it's so different for every person. But what those little microorganisms do, they help digest food, they support our immune system, they produce vitamins, they influence our metabolism, they also decrease inflammation. But what we can eat is one of the strongest factors impacting our gut health. And consistently, certain foods have been shown to help support a healthy gut microbiome. The one we probably know a lot about and hear the term probiotics. Again, there's going to be a lot of information you can go to and find out more. It'll be linked there. One is from the ISAPP, which stands for the International Scientific Association for Pre- and Postbiotics. It really has lots and lots of good information in Activia. I know that's a yogurt type, but they have been doing gut research for over 20 years, and they have amazing stuff. So those two websites are a great resource for you. But here's the definition of a probiotic. It's a live organism. When administered in adequate amounts, confers a health benefit to the host. We're the host. The bacteria are giving us health benefits. It's only called a probiotic if they've have researched it and defined it's a definite health benefit. So not all bacteria are considered probiotics. They may in the future when they find out more research. But anyway, there's been a lot of research ongoing. Probiotic supplements have become very popular, but researchers at NIH say so far no health claims can be yet approved for these probiotic supplements. Why? Well, it's very complicated. There's a lot of research, so many different families of bacteria and strains of bacteria. It's like you have a family and there's like a gazillion family members, all the strains, and they do different things. Some strains help with constipation. Some strains help with, say, antibiotic-induced diarrhea. Some strains help lower the risk and even shorten the duration of certain infections like respiratory colds. Some help with eczema in infants. There's a lot of things, and they do different things. So they're still studying it. They're still trying to figure out, and they don't know how much from person to person, how much they need, how long do they need it. So again, a lot of research. Please visit those sites. You'll really be fascinated with what's going on there. So live and active cultures, you see that term on your yogurt. It means that the bacteria in that yogurt have survived, yay, through the processing, and they're still alive when you're buying it. But it doesn't mean they're all probiotics. They have to have that health benefit linked with that strain. So that's kind of a little bit of difference. But anyway, and another thing to remember with probiotics, we have a gut full of all kinds of bacteria. They live there all the time. These probiotics that we're taking in are just kind of visiting our gut. They're helping bring stuff to the bacteria that live there, help keeping them healthy, keeps things healthy in our gut, the lining. But then they move on out, they leave. So we have to keep replacing every day those probiotics because they're not the same as the ones that stay permanently in our gut. Probiotic supplements, like I said, there's no health claim for them yet, and food is always better because the food is packaged with other things, other nutrients. Like this kefir has, calcium and protein and magnesium and phosphorus, vitamin D, whereas a probiotic supplement, that's all you're getting. And it also buffers. When those probiotics have to go down through your stomach, the acid kind of can attack it. So it kind of buffers and protects the probiotics, helps them get to the gut alive and intact. There is one probiotic called BC30, and it's interesting, they're starting to put probiotics in fruits and stuff. And that BC30 forms spores, and as it goes through your gut, it's protected till it gets all the way down to your gut. And here they are in prunes. Y'all know how I feel about prunes. Yay, prunes for digestive health, but especially for bone health. I've talked about that many times. You can kill two birds with one stone. Probiotics, prebiotics that are in the prunes are going to help feed the probiotics, and you got all the other benefits too. So it might be something you want to try. Some of the more common probiotics, of course, are yogurts. This Activia now has a little yogurt daily, which is kind of just drinking your yogurt quickly. And then if you really want to get brave, you can start into the kefir or kefir, depending on, the American English is kefir, but kefir is really how it's pronounced in the Mideast. And it is powerfully packed. It takes some getting used to, and if you come out to the centers, I'm going to do some taste testing with kefir to see, just how much you like it. But anyway, there are definite foods that have been shown. There's a lot of, the jury's out on all these probiotics, but the foods that help with our gut health, fiber. The NIH says that we need to increase our fruits and vegetables. Yeah, we don't eat enough of them. Whole grains, don't get enough whole grains. And we need nuts, seeds, legumes, all bringing fiber to the gut. Why? Well, fiber is like the food for our bacteria. They see this fiber coming. We don't digest it, the insoluble fiber, but they're like, yeah, and then chomp, 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 chomp. And as that they digest that fiber, it releases really important things that help heal our gut, keep our gut lining nice and tight so things can't escape out into the rest of our body and cause that inflammation that is, wreaking havoc on our bodies. And soluble fiber, good for them, the bacteria to eat, but also good for lowering cholesterol for us. So fiber is important, 25 to 30 grams a day. Most Americans get maybe half that amount. So how do we do that? Try bringing it up 10, 10, 10. Start a fiber-based breakfast, just boom, right out the gate. An example of that could be, let's see, oatmeal, berries, and chia seeds, 14 grams of fiber. Avocado toast, y'all, most come out the centers know I do not like avocados. I'm going to try to like them. They are so powerfully packed with fiber and all kinds of stuff. Smear that on a whole grain bread, and boom, you're up to your required amount of fiber. So at least 10 grams, breakfast. Lunch, some examples, quinoa and chickpea bowl, 12 grams. And as I read that, I thought way back, maybe some of you have attended, we did a mason jar thing where you prepared 4 mason jars, and it was quinoa and chickpeas and all kinds of vegetables, and you put them in these mason jars and you had them for the whole week, a real healthy meal. We're going to link that recipe, so in case you want to try it, if you've never tried it, it's a great way to get a good amount of fiber. Lentil soup and a side salad, 10 grams of fiber. A whole grain wrap with hummus and vegetables, 10 grams of fiber. Here's where we get in a little bit of trouble. Snack times usually tend to be low fiber, highly processed foods. Try switching it up. Try to get about 5 grams of fiber at snacks. Apples and peanut butter or almond butter, 6 grams of fiber. Popcorn, 3 cups of popcorn, boom, you got 4 grams of fiber. Carrots and hummus, 5 grams. Handful of nuts, 3 grams. A pear, 6 grams of fiber for a pear. Can you believe that? So dinner, simple template. 1 protein, 2 vegetables, 1 whole grain. So you plug in what you want with that, but every night could be that. So the protein could be, any of your meats, your fish, whatever. 2 vegetables, say a side salad and another vegetable, green beans. Whole grain, brown rice, quinoa, whole grain roll. Boom, you've got your fiber that you need. So basically the recommendations are make half your diet plant-based, limit your red and processed meats, deck of cards, palm of your hand for your red meat, and no more than 3 times a week. Highly increased risk of colon cancer if you're consuming like a hamburger or a hot dog every day. Hope you're not doing that, but that's what the research is showing. 2 or 3, avoid too much added sugar or buying things that have a lot of added sugar. All the studies they've done on yogurts, they did for gut health, they did with yogurt that had added sugar in it, did not affect the gut benefit, but we all know too much added sugar is not good for our heart, our teeth, and our weight. So again, trying to pick things that have less added sugar. For your 30 grams of fiber a day, if you're having trouble with that, we'll talk in a minute about fiber supplements. And 5 is to maintain a healthy weight. Being active can help with your gut. Small habits can add up. Add a tablespoon of chia or flax seeds to anything. Now, be careful with those chia seeds. Remember that, maybe I'm dating myself, but chia pets, and they wet the chia seeds and they sprout. You want to make sure you soak those chia seeds before you consume them. You don't want to get one caught in your esophagus and have it expand. That has happened. 2, include beans 3 times a week. 3, swap out your refined grains for whole grains. Make sure it has at least 3 grams of fiber per serving. Eat a high fiber fruit daily. Eat those peels, the concentrated fibers around the peels. Remember the pear, 6 grams of fiber. Kiwi fruit has been shown through research to be really good for our gut health. So, slice up a kiwi fruit. Remember though, if you haven't done a lot of fiber, don't go gung-ho and do it all at once. I was at a conference last week, a lot of stuff on fiber. Go slow and low was the big key takeaway. Slow and low. Don't want to do it too much. Add a little bit, maybe 3 grams of fiber for a week, and then add it and keep doing it, but make sure you get plenty of water as well. Now about those fiber supplements, you're like, I just can't get 30 grams of fiber a day. Watch out for the cheap fibers. Chicory root makes a lot of gas, bloating. Psyllium husk is a much better choice. Careful heavy metals. There is a Prop 65 heavy metals alert that they're now putting. It's required. So if there's no alert of the heavy metals that is or is not in there, you might be suspect that that company might have some heavy metals. They just don't want to report it. Beware of fake reviews. Evidently now it's called review farming. They buy good reviews. So, if they all sound too good to be true, it might be too good to be true. So again, take that with a grain of salt. Check the capsules per serving. Some require 4 to 5 capsules, 2 to 3 times a day. That's a lot of swallowing of capsules. Try to find a more concentrated one that maybe you only need 3 capsules once a day. That would work out better. 60, 70 million Americans have digestive disorders. I'm not going to go into that here. If you come out to the center, I'll be discussing it more. Diverticulitis, chronic constipation, gallstones, IBD, IBS, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's, GERD, celiac, all kinds of things can affect our GI tract and not make it healthy. So how do we figure out what kind of yogurts and how much, which ones are good, which ones are not? Because you go to the store, there's tons and tons of yogurt. I remember back when my first son was born, there wasn't yogurt. I had to make my own yogurt with some little yogurt machine. So anyway, now there's too many choices. So what you're looking for is the colony forming unit, CFU. We need about 10 to 20 billion a day. The ISAPP, that company I told you about, they say at least 1 billion a day for kind of general health maintenance. So you might need more if it's a specific condition. Say you've been on a lot of antibiotics, you got diarrhea from that, you might need 10 to 20 billion per day for weeks until that clears up. Now the sad thing is there's no information. There's nothing that says just how many CFUs are in any of these yogurts. So how do you know? They've done third-party testing, and a typical serving of yogurt is 1 to 6 billion CFUs for a cup. So if you're just trying to maintain, you probably can get away with any of the yogurts and you'd be fine. Greek yogurt like Chobani or Oinka's has 4 billion. These little Activity ones have 4 billion. Stonyfield Farms, 6 billion. And if you really want to go high, kefir has 12 billion for an 8-ounce cup of kefir. The portion sizes are a cup of yogurt for the other things. So what you're going to look for is, one, it should say live and active cultures. That means they survived. And what survived, it's really helpful if they list the individual strains. So that's a decent yogurt if they've got the strains. Now, by law, there's 2, I'll probably butcher this name, S. thermophilus and L. bulgaricus. Those are the 2 strains of bacteria that make the yogurt what they are. They put it in the milk culture, it ferments the lactase sugar in the dairy, and it makes the yogurt. That's great, but they're really not the same health bits. So if you see those two, you're like, okay, it's yogurt, but you need other strains besides those two. And they're usually listed. I don't want to pull out my glasses, but like these all have certain ones listed on them. And so you can actually go and look them up and see what they're for. The studies are out there. But anyway, you want to do a cup for maintenance, maybe more, or if you really need a lot more, kefir might be the way to go. I'm going to do the kefir testing, so again, if you can come out, you can just try it and see if you even like it. You also want to check the expiration date. The closer to the expiration date, the less bacteria are alive. They're going to start dying off. And if you have one, like I remember somebody saying to me, oh, I got this yogurt on sale because it was near the expiration date and they had marked it really low. I'm like, I don't know if you really want to buy them because now you've defeated the purpose of buying yogurt in the first place. Anyway, definitely look at activia.us.com. It's really cool. There's going to be on it a gut health lifestyle quiz and even a more in-depth one too. I just printed this one out. And you answer the questions and you see, oh man, my gut needs some work. And if you think you do, they have a 14-day gut health challenge. It's pretty cool where, you check off what you've done. Now they're obviously promoting their Activia yogurts. Not a bad thing. Again, they are probably the one yogurt company that has done the most research and been around for 20 years doing the research, so it's legit stuff. But if you don't want to do that, you could do kefir instead. You could do your yogurt. But they have 2 servings a day of the Activia because you're going with the smaller, so to equal a cup. So if you do a cup of something else, and then hydrate, sleep, meditation, exercise. These are all the foods they encourage you to eat 30 different plants per week. And it's not just fruits and vegetables, it's whole grains, nuts, seeds, spices, checking them off. It's a really good way to kind of get, mindfully thinking about what's going on in your body, what are you doing for your gut, because it really matters. I got a little sticker when I was away at my conference that says, love your guts. So it was a cute little thing, and we really do, because everything else seems to stem from how healthy our gut is. So anyway, next month I'll be back. I'm going to talk about olive oils, and I'll see you then. Bye.